holistic nutritionist and health coach. And I'm excited to just talk a little bit about my vegan journey, lifestyle, and some of the myths and information questions that people have about a vegan diet, and hopefully inspire you to make that transition. So I became acquainted with and became vegan and plant-based, whole food plant-based advocate after I was diagnosed with cancer, thyroid cancer in 2007. So after that diagnosis, I decided to look at natural treatment for it as opposed to the traditional treatment. And what I found was that diet was very instrumental in the development of disease as well as the reversal. So I switched my diet to a plant-based diet, did lots of research on holistic modalities and how to use food to heal, and what was the best diet, and the research just bared out the power of whole food plant-based diet. So that's what I did, along with supplementation and stress reduction. I was able to reverse my cancer in about a year's time. So I was excited about that and wanted to help other people to do the same thing. So that's what I do. Became a holistic nutritionist and got certified in that. And now I kind of lead people on that path to use, to assist with whatever healing path they're on, to help use food in that process, whether you're doing that alone or with other modalities. It's always going to be beneficial to have a healthy whole food diet in whatever area that you're trying to improve or heal. So a lot of people have been inspired by the movie What the Health, to go vegan. So I got a lot of questions about that, what to do, how do I do it. Some people went overnight, some people transition more slowly. Some people went overnight and then relapsed 2 weeks later. So because they didn't know what to do, they're like, I just can't eat salads and smoothies every day, and that's it. So they were like hungry, or things like that. So there is a way. There's always a right way, good, better, and best way to do things. So it really depends on your personality and the knowledge you have to make it work. So I always say it's best to prepare a little bit or a lot of it before making a drastic change. So the main thing is finding replacements for what you normally eat. If you normally eat a chicken sandwich every day for lunch, and a soup, chowder, or like a crab bisque or something, you've got to find some replacements that now you're going to make that part of your routine. So the first thing is really understanding what is vegan or plant-based, no animal products, eggs, dairy, meat products, or byproducts. So that's number one, understanding what it is, and then understanding where you can get these foods that are already, in some cases, pre-made for those who can't cook or don't want to cook. You got to find some places where you can get some pre-made things, or things that you can easily heat up. For those who are a little more skilled in the kitchen, it's really a matter of finding some really good, easy recipes to sometimes imitate what you're used to, or just completely, substitute in a different way, and understanding like the substitutes, especially mock meats and things, are not going to taste exactly like the original, except some have gotten pretty close. So, but for the most part, they're not going to taste exactly the same. So you have to shift your expectations, okay, on what this is going to be good, but different. And then finding a community of folks and people that you can socialize with. So a lot of people think, well, if I go vegan, I'm going to lose a ton of weight, and some people say I'm already thin, I don't want to waste away. But for the majority of Americans, most of us need to lose a little weight, so it's a good thing, and that does naturally happen. You do naturally lose weight on a whole food plant-based diet. Now you can go a junk food plant-based diet, junk food vegan diet. There are plenty of things that are vegan, like chips and Oreos and Twizzlers, that are not part of a really healthy diet. So you can go that route and not lose any weight. Or you can really take the benefit of a real plant-based diet and eat the whole grains, the green leafy vegetables, the fruits, and all of that, and the nuts and the grains, and put them in combinations that taste really good. So for those who are concerned about losing too much weight, it's really a matter of increasing the calorie count. So using more, some natural protein powders, using more nuts and nut butters, complex, carbs like sweet potatoes and things like that, that will add grains, usually help keep weight on. So you can absolutely do it. I have friends, more than one friend or two who's a bodybuilder, vegan athlete. They keep their weight on. They just eat a little bit more, like anyone who is very athletic. They eat a little bit more than your average person to keep the calorie count up. So it's absolutely doable. And a lot of them say, they feel better and have more energy because they're not bloated with things like whey protein and those kind of things. So you want to look for like the brown rice protein, hemp protein, pea protein, those things that are going to be really beneficial for the amino acids and not bloat you and make you feel, tired. So the other question that comes up when people are transitioning is, am I going to be able to eat out at all? It's like most restaurants are not that vegan friendly, but the good news is there's a lot of restaurants who are now adding vegan dishes to their menu because it's in such high demand. So it's not that difficult to eat out. I just was on a trip and went to an all seafood restaurant. And I didn't want to rock the boat because I'm the only vegan. But I was able to actually have a really good meal there. I had salad, told them to leave the cheese off, leave the bacon off. I asked for a baked potato. The baked potato is always the standard. At a steakhouse, you can always get a baked potato. It's like, all right, that's like the standard. So then I'm like, how am I gonna, jazz this up? So I got some asparagus. I had a side of butternut squash with hazelnuts. That was really good. I had something else that was good. So I put all that together. And sometimes you can get a little oil and vinegar, salt and pepper. I had a really good mixed green salad. So I was full on really healthy veggies and a good, baked potato. So I felt good. I didn't feel deprived at all. The dressing happened to be, plant-based and good. So you can do that. It was all the sides though. So that's like the worst case scenario. And it wasn't that bad is the thing. So you can make it work. But if you have a little more leeway, like I said, it was kind of a work thing. I didn't want to be like, oh, we've got to go to the vegan restaurant, which I really wanted to go to the vegan restaurant, but I wasn't going to push that. But if you have a little more leeway and it's casual, friends and family, choose a restaurant that has options already on the menu so everybody can get something a little more substantial, or even, choose a plant-based restaurant where that's really good, a good one, and folks will not mind. But you can usually find something if you go to more ethnic restaurants, Japanese, Thai, any of those, other than just kind of your steakhouses, you're going to find some naturally occurring plant-based options anyway. So it can happen. There are plenty of apps out there that you can use to help you identify plant-based friendly restaurants and things like that. So it happens. It takes a little effort, but it works. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't feel deprived at all. The other thing, people wonder if they have to take a lot of supplements if they go vegan. You really don't. Everybody needs a basic multivitamin. You do need a B12, which is usually in a good multivitamin. That's something you really have to be cognizant about. Most people need a vitamin D3, things like that. But there's not like, oh my gosh, now I gotta go load up on $100 worth of supplements. No, it really depends on you, on what you need, how active you are, any deficiencies you might already be dealing with. Things like that. So most people feel better, have more energy, sleep better when they transition, are more alert, that kind of thing. So it's usually all good side effects when you go plant-based. It's really, like I said, just arming yourself with the right information. So now that when you go to the store, how you're going to replace your milk with a plant milk, you're going to replace your meats with either beans, nuts, seeds, or some combination, or some of the mock meats if that's what you like. It's not a necessity. Which brings us to lots of questions about soy. I always get tons and tons of questions about, is soy good or bad, or are the guys going to get man boobs, is so much estrogen, all of that kind of thing. I get it all the time. So the thing with soy, not all soy is created equal. So There's GMO soy, right? We want to avoid GMOs, period, not just because it's soy, but any GMO. So whether that's a plant-based food or not, you want to avoid GMOs. It's just really not the healthiest for the body. So a lot of soy is GMO. That GMO soy is usually for farm animals. So the majority of soy that's grown, like 80%, goes to the animals because we're consuming so many animals. So that you're getting soy secondhand anyway if you're eating meat, because it's going to the cows, the chickens, the pigs, okay? So anyway, that's number one. You can easily avoid GMO soy by eating organic soy. Just period. So the GMO argument kind of goes out the window because you can easily choose organic soy, which is everywhere. The next question becomes about the type of soy, which is good, better, best. So a lot of the mock meats use the soy protein isolate and highly processed. If you want to get away from highly processed foods and go toward more whole foods. So anytime something is super processed, whether it's a plant or an animal, the more you process it, the less natural it is, less healthy it's going to be. More of the problems associated with soy have done studies on the soy protein isolates, which are more of some of the mock meats. So I tend to like to stay in the middle with more natural soy, like tofu, tempeh, those miso, things that have been eaten for thousands and thousands of years. You can make, you can get some soybeans and make tofu in your kitchen. You can make soy milk in your kitchen. You can make tempeh in your kitchen. So it's not super processed where you would need some chemical process to extract and extrude things from it. So those are natural. Also, fermented tempeh is easier to digest, has a lot of benefits. Soy has been shown to be very protective against cancers, the reproductive cancers, because it actually blocks the uptake of the animal-based estrogens that we have too much of. If you're overweight, you tend to have more estrogen. If you're eating animals, you get more estrogen. So really, you're going to get excess estrogen from animal products that have real estrogen like we do versus a plant estrogen, which is weaker and is uptaken in the body a lot differently. So the soy is actually shown to be protective. There's no real evidence that men, get man boobs and that kind of thing, unless they're taking huge amounts of it, like soy concentrates and things like that. And even then, that's still questionable. So if you eat a balanced diet, eat small amounts, it's not a problem, and it tends to be protective. So, so I think it's something that helps people transition, especially if they like the mouthfeel of certain meats and things. Some of the mock meats are really good. Some of the new burgers that have come out are very close, and people can't tell the difference. So I think those are great to transition you on your journey to learning how to eat whole foods and eating for health as opposed to just for taste. But taste is important, so you gotta get good recipes and good ideas and learn how to season the food really well, because that's the key to plant-based food, is the seasoning. It's the key to any food, really, because you wouldn't just take a piece of meat and not season it. You marinate it, you do dry rubs, you do all kinds of machinations of things to meat. So I'm like, do some of that to the veggies and things like that, and it'll taste really, really good. So, thinking about whole foods, I get a lot of questions about juicing and smoothies, which is better, which is that something you need to do. Smoothies are when you blend the whole fruits together, like in a blender, nothing is wasted. Those are great for every day because you're getting all the nutrients of fruit. You can't really get too much sugar from that because everything is together with the fiber, and you put other things in it like proteins and nuts and seeds and things like that. Smoothies are excellent. I recommend it for everybody, and just don't add any added sugar or dairy, and you're going to be in good shape. Juicing is excellent too. You're separating the fiber from the juice from the fruit, so you have to go for low sugar fruits and mostly vegetables. Point of juicing is to get a high volume of nutrients in at once without the fiber, so your body absorbs it. But with fruit, it tends to have too much sugar, so you got to mix that with the greens that are very low in sugar, and just put just enough fruit to make it taste good. So juicing is not necessary. It's great for cleanses. It's great if you're sick because your body doesn't have to digest the fiber, so you can just have a juice and get all those nutrients that you wouldn't be able to eat. A head of cabbage you can get in one juice, that kind of thing. So you're going to get all the nutrients and benefits of that. So it's a good supplemental thing. It's not a necessity. I like to use it occasionally as a supplement, throughout the day or especially when you're doing cleanses or when you're sick. But as a daily thing, I recommend going with the smoothies as a better option. One of the things I get a lot of questions about, and I don't want to gloss over it too much, is the protein question. Are you going to get enough protein on a plant-based diet? And I know a lot of vegans get irritated with that question, but I don't, because I understand the programming we've had with thinking that you only get protein from meat, because that's the way it's been marketed to us. Fact is, you get protein from any fruit, vegetable, plant, especially when it's in its whole form. There is a lot of protein in meat, but there's also a lot of protein in lentils, split peas, and brown rice, and whole grains, and quinoa, and things like that. So when you're eating a well-rounded diet, in combination with all those things, you really don't have to worry about the protein content. Most people don't have any issue with not getting enough protein. Now, there's always the outlier. Somebody said, well, my cousin went vegan and she didn't get enough protein. I mean, like, that's the outlier. That's not generally the case. Number one, you gotta make sure you're eating enough calories in general. Number two, you gotta make sure you're eating well-rounded, and that usually takes care of it. So knowing that there's protein in all foods, especially when you're eating whole foods, they're more abundant. Like when you're eating whole grain breads, you're going to find more protein. When you're eating black and brown rice, you're going to have more protein. You have the complete proteins like the split peas and the quinoa, things like that. So you really don't have to worry about, oh, I've got to get a complete protein, that kind of thing. You just got to make sure you're eating well-rounded, including those nuts, seeds, beans in there throughout the day, and you're going to get quite adequate amount. Most people get too much protein as it is, so that's why we're thinking we have to eat an overabundance of it. And we really don't. And you can always add extra sources with the protein powders, or like I mentioned earlier, nut butters and things like that. And then the mock meats generally have quite a bit of protein as well. So that's something very easy to remedy. The other question is, well, where do you get calcium? Because everybody associates milk and dairy with calcium. It does have calcium. However, it's not the calcium that our body needs, and there's a lot of studies that show that calcium from dairy products actually weakens the bones because of the acidity when you drink it. I know it's the base on the outside of the body, but on the inside of the body it creates this acidic ash, and the body tries to neutralize that by usually stealing calcium from the blood and the bones, and so over time those who drink more milk have more bone loss and fractures and osteoporosis. So milk is for baby cows, period. It's not for humans. It really isn't. It causes a lot of inflammation in us. It really has lots of growth hormone because it's for a baby cow to grow very big, very quickly. So it's associated with certain, especially the reproductive cancers, prostate and others. So we really want to stay away from milk unless you're a baby cow. Have at it. Otherwise, there's plenty of plant milks on the market. You just got to keep trying until you find one. You can even make your own pretty easy, like with 4 or 5 ingredients in your blender, from hemp seeds, almonds, those kind of things. Very, very, very easy to make. And so I hope that's given you a good overview, and a lot of people did reach out to me after seeing What the Health and were really inspired by the movie and changed, their diet. And I'm still getting emails now about people who changed their diet immediately after and are doing well. So it's been an inspiration, and it's been a blessing for me to be a part of, inspiring people to take that leap. And I know that it's been instrumental in raising seriously the number of people who've gone plant-based in the last year or two, and helped skyrocket a lot of the products that are out. I'm excited for the trend of vegan becoming normal and no longer the outlier, and people are catching on that you can have a better, healthier life by leaving plants off the plate, and you can cause less suffering to the animals and the environment at the same time, which, who doesn't want to do that? So I'm excited, and I've got a lot of good things on the horizon. One is I teach a lot of cooking classes and nutrition classes, so I'm gonna now be able to actually help feed the masses with my own restaurant in a few months in DC. So, you know, if you're not connected with me, get connected so you'll know about when it's open, the opening. So you can get connected with me via my website, which is rubylathon.com. And you can connect with me there, email me there, and I'm happy to you know, share information, my newsletter, and all those kind of things. Then you just go to the website, sign up for the newsletter. You'll be notified about all my upcoming events and things like that. So I hope to see you soon, and I wish you like wellness and health and fun on your plant-based journey.